So you can see I'm working with the Laird on simple pencil drawings. I just hadn't had time to do proper drawings of this out.
So this is the famous Laird.
This is the Laird Speedwing, yeah.
That we have seen on as an what's the word? The X-plane, flying. What's the word? What's the computer program?
Oh, the X-plane, yes.
Yeah, the X-plane.
Yeah, a lot of these airplanes are flown in X-plane simulation. And the original version of the Flitzer Laird I came up with was the only one that had a problem with handling, and that was because it had a 39-inch chord top wing and a shortened bottom wing. And at high angles of attack, with a lot of power and a lot of torque, the airplane would roll off against opposite aileron. So that was a critical and extreme case. But we decided to try and make it better by reducing the chord of the top wing back to 34 inches, which is a standard Flitzer chord, extending the bottom wing slightly, and uber extending the ailerons, so that they've moved inboard by a bay, and they go right up to the tip practically anyway.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Now
But only at the bottom. I like this.
Only on the bottom.
So much trouble going back.
Well, only because the Laird is perfect, because the real one only had the ailerons on the bottom anyway, has an A-frame cabane, or the wing built directly on top of the fuselage, which has still got an A-frame inside, and eye struts. So it was already
Flitzer-like.
Flitzer-like. So by doing it's a small airplane, even the Laird solution having a span of about 20 feet. So this thing having a span of 17 feet 8 inches is very close in scale to a real Laird. And it's actually the LCED, which is the Warner-powered lightweight Laird that came up before the solution. This is much closer to that. Typical Laird tail, as you see there.
Yes.
And you can see it there on the bench. That's the Laird tail plane. And the Laird fin.
Yeah. So that's the Laird.
Yeah.
So now we're in Laird mode.
Yeah.
So nice with real pencils.
Yeah, if you overlay that on top of, say, a Z1R, you'll see how close it is to the same aeroplane. Now, with the engine being lighter, see the centre of pressure's come back, so the wings are further back than on the Z1R. The bottom wing on the Z1R is well forward here somewhere. Cockpit. Now, if you put cockpit on cockpit, you can see much longer the nose is on the Laird. It has a lighter engine. The tail area is quite similar. Not quite as much as on the Z1R, but close enough. And the undercarriage is raked a bit more forward, because that's how it looked on the Laird. So in fact, the airplane will have less tendency to go on its nose, but will have more tendency to ground it. So it's only a matter of changing one's approach to landing it.
And this is the real. Oh, no more drawings here.
Oh yeah, this is the Stormcopper. At least it's.
Okay, wait a second. Now we're talking about Laird. This is the Laird. Let's go see the Laird.
Well, this is actually a Flitzer Meteor rudder that was made many years ago, about 1998, and it's exactly the right shape for the Laird. So rather than make a new one, even though it's a bit heavy, I've adapted it to suit the new Laird fin.
Perfect.
To do that, I've had to move the hinge down to a new position there. And because I was restricted putting my hinge here, the only place I could put it was to drill through the centre of that rib. But it was a substantial confluence there of timber. So I put a lock nut inside there. Yes. So that attaches in that position. And I've got to put another hinge down the bottom, obviously. Now the Laird also, or Flitzers tend to use an aluminium fin post. There. So that'll be part of it. I've made all the hinges too to suit this using box section steel and cut them down.
Very cool.
I'll show you the hinges later on.
And this one has tapered compared to the Z21, right?
Oh yeah, tapered tailplane and elevator. And this will be partly ply covered. The front here will be ply covered from the spar forward, and then there'll be ply covering here for about 2 inches or so wide, all the way to the tip, and also all the way along the rear spar, so you're locking in the bracing point here and holding the ribs on firmly.
Because you do need that. Minimally, you at least need a gusset. So you're just going all the way. All
the way through, yes, at least wider than that point there. See?
Yep.
And it'll also overlap on the back here about 1/4 inch, so it'll give you a nice smooth airflow into the leading edge of the elevator, which will be rounded.
And do you bother going with some balsa in there for the rounded?
Yeah, the balsa here on the leading edge of the elevator spar.
Okay.
There'll be balsa on the leading edge of the fins of the rudder spar.
Yep.
As you see, this overlaps very slightly.
Okay, so you didn't, because on this 21, I have balsa in this to make it around.
Yeah.
It's
but,
overkill,
I see
maybe?
what you mean. Oh, well, this is only a very small amount. In fact, the aluminium fin post fills that pretty much.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But there'll be a rounded leading edge anyway. But it's getting very small here, you see, so...
Yep.
This has to be sanded a bit more yet to get it down to exactly the right contour.
Awesome. And what kind of glue do you have to use in the UK?
Well, this is Aerolite 306. You can use that or Aerodux, which is the dark brown stained glue. But I prefer the Aerolite. It has a longer shelf life once you've mixed it, and it's much neater to use.
But you do have to use, like, you don't have, like the Americans, you have to actually have like crazy pressure compared to...
Yes, I put a fair bit of pressure on with staples. You can see the staple mark probably wherever I've pinned stuff down. But
awesome. And what other parts is there made about the Laird?
Well, the fuselage is here. This is the same fuselage as the Stormcock and the Meteor, but it's been adapted now. I've reduced the height of the Firewall. Let me get these things off here and show you. These are the elevator laminations for the Laird. So this is the fuselage. I need a bit more time. I'll clear the space a bit.
I hear there was a cyclone, so it's not your fault last week. So this is just the residual of the cyclone.
Yeah, right.
So you're totally excused.
That isn't the Horn. That's actually the SK-26 biplane, but it'll be similar to that on the Laird. It's 14 gauge, but it's drilled out and lightened, so it's equivalent to the same way to the 16 gauge Horn.
Okay. Yeah, 14 gauge. Boy, that's pretty damn serious. Eh?
Yeah, it's pretty strong. And it's got a lip on it too to stiffen it up. You see?
Yep. Nice. It is. It really is.
Now this is basically the Flitzer Meteor fuselage modified. So I've moved the seat back 4 inches. This is the new seat back position. So the stick has got an extension on it to bring it back as well.
Okay.
This means that when you put aileron on, whereas previously the stick used to strike to the thighs,
yes,
it now will be closer to the knees, and as a result you'll get more aileron travel. Plus the fact that I've improved it on X-plane now, so we know it's going to have a very high roll rate.
We still, again, Laird has 4 ailerons.
No, 2.
2! I like 2.
Some Lairds
like
have 4, but the racer only had 2.
Very good. I think 2 is that's so much better.
So what we've got here then is the new seat back in this position.
Yep.
The longeons have been thickened up with a doubler here, all the way back, right through to there like that. So that as you're sitting further back, you're putting more of a load into the bottom longeons.
Okay.
So I've strengthened those up considerably. So this will form a C-section here with a plywood. So once the outside pliers goes on, you have a C-beam. And then...
I see if there's these guys here, it implies that there's fabric in the back.
There's fabric, yeah. It's ply covered as far as here.
Yep.
It'll sweep back in a curve, and then there'll be stringers on the whole thing. So it'll be stringers all the way down to the last bay. And you go flat just under the tailplane. So this section here, this is a trim tab, adjustable tab, which operates through a series of notches. Yeah. There's throttle and mixture control. This ply here is a map pocket, so you put the maps in there. And this is for your toes to come through for the step on the fuselage side.
Yes.
And then there'll be another step further back, which I can try and find the lamination for that. Typically can't find it. But anyway, there'll be a step further back, so there'll be 2 steps to get in. It'll have a higher ground angle now than it did have, because I'm putting standard Flitzer wheels on, which lengthens the undercarriage. So with that extra height, I need the extra step to get in, like on Dudley's Z1R. Or you can see where that's scarf ready for the...
Yeah, I saw that scarf at the beginning.
So that'll run up like that.
Right. What about this? This
is the locking tailwheel system. So it'll lock backwards or unlock forwards. And that's attached to a Teleflex controller, which will pull the pin out of the locking and steerable tailwheel.
And you like the locking, unlocking?
Well, because I want to be able to fly from tarmac and be able to go places with the airplane. And if it's only for grass operation, I'm limited to where I can go. So this is the reason for it. And then, oh yeah, these are some of the metal parts here, carry-throughs. There's quite a lot of the aeroplane done. The undercarriage was going to be a standard Flitzer undercarriage, but because the undercarriage is different on the Laird, it's raked more forward. I have to use a different undercarriage. And I started to cut the legs here, which will be streamline legs.
Neat.
So
this
these
is
are
steel?
legs.
Boy. Did you make this or how?
No, these are parts of available streamline section.
Oh, very good.
And these are, just to give you an idea of the leg length on it.
Yep.
Down to the cradle tube there, like that.
Yes, neat.
And no, the rake is this sort of way. It's almost a vertical leg actually, so it has to be more robust than a rake back leg. And forward here, the firewall has been reduced from the original height, so it's going to run straight back from here, dead straight line to the windscreen. It's all the way back here somewhere. And the windscreen will slide on a small section of aluminium between two rails. So to get in, you slide the windscreen forward, open the little hatches, climb in. When you strap it in, close the hatches and slide it back, and it locks onto the hatches.
Boy, that sounds like Cleveland and racing.
It's better for, it makes a more streamlined look. There's a longer look to it as well. Stop it, Debbie. The firewall originally was 23 inches wide for a 23-inch wide fuselage, but I've reduced it back to 22, which is what all the other parts are made for, by cutting off both sides of the firewall and gluing a new section inside to bring the strength back again.
Which is the same width as the prototype.
Yeah, that's right. And then originally this was a fully skinned rear firewall, but I've actually offset a cutout there to allow the starter motor for the Aero V to be accessed. But I don't know how long the mount's going to be yet, so it may not actually go in as far as that. And if I change the engine anyway, it can be repositioned. There's the two attachments there for the fuel
gas tank.
Yeah, that's right. And this, on the Stormcock originally, this corner projected on the launch room to get as small as possible radius here for a finely pointed nose. So there's going to be a little blister on the outside to cover the corner. But on the Laird, this is going to be increased now and brought out to the full width here by putting another lamination on top. And then the nose will run straight back in a straight line to the windscreen. Because there's the Laird, that shows how the original nose, Stormcock, that's how the nose would have gone on the Stormcock.
In a more pointy fashion.
But if I'd used an Aero V there, I'd had to mock up a radial around it as a cosmetic exposed radial engine. Whereas on the Laird, I can put the engine inside the cowling, and if I retrofit a radial engine later on, I can use the same cowling. So,
personally, I think that's better looking. Having fake parts to me.
Yeah, but there were ways of doing it very authentically, which I can explain later. Tailplane.
Okay, now we're looking at
this is
the golden age of racing, pre-1940 by Schmidt, Struman, Weaver.
So this is the Laird solution, and what I'm not trying to reproduce is the solution actually, but something that looks like a forerunner of the solution. It's essentially going to look like this aeroplane, but with the cabane visible, so you can actually see through it. Otherwise, it's going to look a lot like that. Possibly not with the spats on either, so there'll be Flitzer wheels like that. It's a very elegant machine.
It sure is.
So there'll be a very small amount of splay on the interplane struts.
I'm sorry, the what?
Splay outwards on the interplane struts. Very small amount here. Not a great deal, but it just makes a bit difference. Of course, the undercarriage won't be splayed like that. It'll be wider and slightly more upright. Typically Flitzer in front of you. Well, like that, in fact. And this is the same fuselage as that. This is still the Laird fuselage. It was originally going to be armed, as you see, with Browning machine guns.
I love that! We should always have machine guns on our biplanes.
Well, there's the rudder again. That's the Laird rudder. So the Stormcock was going to have that rudder. But I was just trying it with a rounded shape to see how it would look. And you can see the undercarriage is raked back here, whereas on the Laird it's much more vertical. In fact, it's raked forward on that one. And mine will be just slightly raked back, but hardly at all.
I see the rake, yes. We see the rake there and the rake.
Yeah. You can see the picture here. It's very slightly raked back.
Yes.
But it still looks close enough vertical.
Yep.
And there's the little guide for the sliding section with the windscreen on it.
That is awesome.
So it means I can put a longer door on, you see, to get in. Because that'll be actually contained within the slide.
Because it is not easy to get in there, right?
It can be difficult. The older you get, the more arthritis you get, the more difficult it is. There's the basic drawing for the fin and the rudder. But whereas this one has the ribs in line, because I used the original Meteor rudder, they don't line up anymore. But I thought that was a bad deal. When I checked the Laird, it's exactly the same. So if you look at the fin and rudder, the ribs don't line up in precisely the same proportion as the Meteor rudder on this. You see? The top ones line up.
I think Mr. Laird thought about all this.
He must have done. But of
So
course
there's going to be a gentleman many years from now in England.
build a wooden one, yeah. I know. But actually there's a metal one being built in Australia.
Okay.
As of last week or so. The guy was going to build a Stormcock, but when I showed him the Laird, and he was in love with the Laird anyway from the beginning, I said I'm going ahead with it. He's going to do his now as a Laird. It's the same fuselage, so it doesn't make any difference. He's making the Firewall at the moment. But all this will be in steel tube on the Laird, like on the Katsu. Sitting in the Katsu?
Yes.
Yeah.
That one is also armed, right?
Yeah, of course.
Ah, you gotta love that one too.
Well, it's a taxi plane, so it had to be on. This is
Yeah, that cyclone really messed things up.
Oh, it did, yeah.
Wanna come here?
Yeah, we put on that. And the fuel tank.
And is this the Laird?
Yep. That's right. It's
A
got
lot of parts been made.
It's got a spiral fuel indicator, and it's got a negative G cap
Ooh.
there. And there's other bits for it as well. So there's quite a lot done. There's the wheels here, and the axle and brakes. The elevator parts, I've got some made. All the hinges. I'll show you the hinges now. These are cut from box section steel, which is C-section like that,
Okay.
and box section as well for the bigger outside of the hinge.
Ah, okay, this is neat.
Yeah.
Saves a lot of trouble.
So in the end, we wind up like this.
Ah, neat.
And
But you can actually buy these two different sizes.
well, I bought two different sizes of one box section for one and a C-section for the other to achieve that.
Perfect. That sounds like a lot less work, right?
Well, it's quite a lot of work to get them right, to get them, made. I didn't jig them fully. I drilled them all by hand, and I just measured everything. So I tried to jig them, but I was trying to do it in a hurry, and as a result, it's worked out okay. But let's see. I think I've got enough here. That's a spare one. That. There's the box section. Yeah. But if they're not drilled perfectly in line, things are skewed, so that's a scrap one. There should be 7 altogether, I think. There's only 6.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not one.
There we go, 7.
Anyway, there's one for the top of the fin somewhere.
No, I just noticed this. That's one serious big.
Yeah, leader. Yeah, there's a drain cock there.
Yep.
So these go on, as they're double hinged, double bolted, they go on here, where the spar is deeper. There's a 10 by 10 millimeter Douglas fir cap strip all the way along there, and the bottom, and the core is spruce. So this is drilled through the spruce only, missing the 10 by 10.
Okay.
The outboard ones are smaller.
Yes, because we're tinkering.
Yep. There's still enough support there to give good anti-leverage on it, anti-torque. But of course there'll be plywood both sides to stop this from rotating.
Yeah.
There's a single bolt on that one.
Same as on the wing.
That's right, yeah. They're lined up using a steel rod to get them exactly right.
Yep.
The top of the fin has that one on it, which is like that. This is prevented from rotating by that little arch there, which it sits inside. But of course there's the metal strap to go on as well, so that's on there. Okay?
Yep.
And,
Sounds
so-
like it's a kit more than an actual building now.
Well, it's,
You worked hard.
Yeah, there's lots of bits done already.
As we're going along, I see how
See,
we're going to
one
edit
thing
that.
I wanted to do, see, was to hide that. It's a bit of Western red cedar or something. It doesn't matter what it is because it's only there's a packer.
Yep.
There's a plug. Yeah, this has been added to here because originally the curve came down lower.
Uh-huh.
So I was ad-libbing as I was going along with this. And this shape here, by the way, may not be the final shape. I may have to put balsa on the side there, depending on how the headrest fits. You know, but it'll be probably balsa flutes running down there as far as that bolt.
Yep.
So
I'm with you. I think it's a good idea to revamp it.
Yeah.
Because going backwards, it's not going forward.
No. Elevator curves. Actually, they'll be a bit longer than that. The core here, 14 inches.
But there's this flat piece there going.
Yeah, it'll be reshaped. I'll put a straight piece in there first. But that's the basic thing anyway.
Yep. Awesome.
And these wheels here are the original Z1 prototype Flitzer wheels
Oh.
without brakes. But I've got a set with brakes now, which will probably go on the Laird. So they'll probably go on the Goblin, if ever.
But now there's one. On the prototype now.
Oh, the ones in front are the same as that, but I use a different axle, so it's got roller bearings rather than fossil bronze bushes. So there's the other one. So I actually got a pair of wheels.
I like the idea of no brakes.
Me too. But
It brings the adventure level way high.
well, it does, but on the Laird I want to be able to go places with it, which got hard runways, so that's essential, really.
Yep.